He was 12 years old. He was already carrying an assault rifle. At 13, he stood on the street watching for police cars. At 14, he was taking part in shootouts. He never dreamed of becoming a doctor. Never planned to go to university. Never thought about the future. Because he was born in a place where surviving to adulthood is already considered luck. This is not Syria, not Afghanistan, and not an active war zone. This is Rio de Janeiro, a city of beaches, carnivals, and beautiful tourist photos. But right above Rio's wealthy neighborhoods, another world exists. A world where children work for cartels, where criminals control entire districts, where the government is often powerless. And today, we are going to show you what a country inside a country really looks like. Rio is a city of contrasts. Luxury hotels, expensive restaurants, and million-dollar apartments can stand just minutes away from the favelas. Thousands of concrete houses stacked chaotically on top of each other. No proper roads, no real safety, no real government control. In many favelas, the real power belongs to drug cartels. They have their own soldiers, their own laws, their own economy, their own punishments. In reality, this is a completely separate system of life, and the most terrifying part is that the state often loses control of entire neighborhoods to these groups. In the favelas, children grow up surrounded by violence. Hearing gunshots at night is normal. Seeing armed men is normal. Knowing who was killed yesterday is normal. For many teenagers, the cartel is not something distant. It is part of everyday life, and the problem is that cartels offer things the government never did. Money, status, protection, a sense of power. In poor neighborhoods, a 14-year-old boy can earn more money than his parents. For children raised in poverty, it feels like the only opportunity they have, and the cartels understand this perfectly. That is why they recruit children extremely young. At first, they offer easy money. Then come simple tasks. Deliver a package, stand at the entrance, watch the road. These kids are known as the eyes of the gang. Sometimes it is just a boy with a phone or a radio, but the entire system depends on him. The moment police appear, information spreads within seconds. Roads are blocked. Drugs disappear. Armed men take positions. Then the children are slowly pulled deeper into the system. Eventually, they are given weapons. For many of them, this is the first moment they feel power. In the favelas, carrying a rifle is a symbol of status. A child with a gun can create more fear than an unarmed adult man. And the most disturbing part is that many of these children are only 13 or 14 years old. They were born into this environment. To them, an assault rifle is as normal as a smartphone. In some favelas, teenagers learn how to shoot before they properly learn how to read. Their childhood ends before it even begins. But the scariest thing about the favelas is not the drugs and not the shootouts. It is how deeply the gangs control everyday life. In many neighborhoods, the cartel knows everything about you. Where you live, who you talk to, where you go, what you say. There are almost no surveillance cameras because the residents themselves become the surveillance system. Any stranger immediately attracts attention, especially tourists. In Rio, there are stories that happen again and again. A tourist rents a car, turns on GPS navigation. Google Maps suggests a shorter route, and within minutes, the person unknowingly drives into a favela, a place where even police are sometimes afraid to enter without armored vehicles. For the tourist, it looks like a simple mistake. For the cartel, it can look like a threat. Because gangs are constantly afraid of undercover police officers, journalists, rival gangs, or informants. A stranger's car can instantly raise suspicion. And then everything happens very fast. The person gets surrounded. Armed teenagers check phones, documents, photos. Sometimes tourists are simply robbed, but there have also been much worse cases. Some drivers tried to escape, and then the shooting started. There have been real cases in Rio where GPS navigation led people directly into cartel-controlled areas. And for some of them, that mistake became their last. Nights are especially dangerous, because after sunset, the favelas change completely. Armed lookouts appear at the entrances. Children and teenagers stand at intersections, holding radios. They monitor every car, every motorcycle, every person. The favelas also have their own economy. And it is massive. There are shops, cafes, repair garages, motorcycle taxis, illegal internet providers, private security services. But above all of it stands one rule. Everything must be paid for. Not to the government, but to the cartel. In reality, criminal organizations operate like an alternative government. They collect money, control territory, resolve disputes, punish rule breakers. In some areas, cartels even help local residents. They buy food, pay for celebrations, fund concerts and events. Because of this, many residents both fear the cartels and depend on them at the same time. But the problem is that escaping this system is almost impossible. Many children have no education, no opportunities, no real future. The cartel becomes their family, and once someone knows too much, they are rarely allowed to leave. Many teenagers live in constant fear. Fear of the police, fear of rival gangs, and even fear of their own cartel. Here, people can die because of a mistake, because of suspicion, or simply for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. For years, the Brazilian government has tried to take control of the favelas back. Special police forces enter the neighborhoods. Raids begin. Sometimes the favelas turn into full-scale war zones. Assault rifles, armored vehicles, helicopters. And caught in the middle of it all are ordinary people and children. Residents often find themselves trapped between two sides, between the cartels and the police. And the problem is that many people do not trust the police either. For them, the arrival of security forces does not always mean safety. Sometimes it means even more danger. And while tourists take photos on Copacabana Beach, another Rio exists just a few kilometers away. A city where children become soldiers, where gangs are stronger than the law, and where taking one wrong street can cost you your life. But the favelas are not only about crime. Millions of ordinary people live there. People who work hard, raise children, and dream of a normal life. The favelas gave the world samba, Brazilian funk, and a huge part of Brazil's football culture. Many local activists are trying to save children from the streets. They open sports clubs, music schools, educational centers. Because they understand one thing: if the schools do not take the children, the cartels will. The favelas of Rio are not just poor neighborhoods. They are places where the state lost control, where children grow up far too quickly, and where violence became part of everyday life. But the most important thing to understand is this: crime does not appear out of nowhere. Where there is no education, no work, no safety, and no future, someone will always come and offer different rules. Even if those rules are written in blood.